The absolute worst feeling is when you attend a dance class and you realize that you're completely out of control. You can't control the music, you don't understand the choreography, and your body doesn't feel good, and you don't even like what you're wearing. This episode is all about helping you find your control within a dance class so that you can have fun. Hello, my beautiful, gorgeous dance baby, and welcome to another episode of More Than Dance. Today, we are talking all about control. Now, I'm sure you've heard this before in terms of dance. Control is one of the things that dancers do best. We have such great control. Now, as a beginner dancer, what you might not be as familiar with is the skill of control in terms of our mindset on the things that we actually can control. So it's very common to step into a studio space and realize that you can't control the choreography. You can't control the song choice, and you can't control how your body is going to feel that day. What we get to control, though, is our mindset around all of those things. Now, there is an episode where I talked all about learning to love a song, learning to love things. And that is a beautiful skill that professional dancers know how to do. Now, when you're just starting, it might be hard to relate to the song. You might not know the lyrics of the song. It's hard to predict the song if you don't know the song, or you might just not like it. So therefore, it can be hard to see that there is appreciation for it. And because dance falls in the category of art, so does the music that is selected. So when we dance, we want to be able to look at everything that is involved with dance as art. You get to control how open you are, how curious you are, how willing you are to mess up. You get to control whether you're choosing to learn that day or perform that day. You get to choose whether you're bringing excitement with you or fear with you. You also get to choose if you're taking it personally that something is hard. A great affirmation that you can say to yourself before stepping into a dance class is, I decide before class how I'm going to modify with my body, how I'm going to push through even when things are hard, and how I'm going to vibe with the music. Making this agreement with yourself before class is going to give you permission to accept the unexpected. Quick little story. There's a girl that's been coming to the studio for a little bit now. She came a couple years ago to a twerk shop, and then most recently she came to our disco night. And I know for a fact, because we laughed about this, that the night that she was coming, she decided to write into her Instagram following and say, guys, tonight I'm going to a sexy dance class, because she knows that we have a lot of opportunities to dance sexily at the studio. And what she didn't do, though, was look at our calendar of theme nights, because it was during Halloween and we happened to be having this disco night. So she got all excited, showed her video from her prior class to her following. And then in a couple slides later, she says, actually, guys, remember that sexy class I said I was going to? Turns out tonight's disco night. And what she decided to do was say, okay, well, that's not what I was expecting, but I still made this agreement to go to dance, to enjoy myself. And she came, she showed up, and she did amazing. It was also super cute because fast forward to when she got her heat, which means she got her class video, she shared it and she goes, do you remember that time where I told you I was going to this sexy dance class and it ended up being disco? And then she showed this beautiful video of herself killing it on the dance floor. Now, that could have been a very, very difficult experience for someone who hasn't had enough mental practice reframing. And because she was able to do that in the class. She was able to see that before she got there, it was going to be disco. She got herself in the mood. She found her cute little disco outfit, and she came and she made the most of it. And that's really what we get to do as dancers all the time when we're stepping into a dance class, because we're making the most not only of our dance experience, but the time that we are investing in dancing. There's so much value that comes from dancing other than just the choreography that you're learning, because it's exercise, it's socialization, it's getting a chance to enjoy music loudly, to be in a room full of like-minded people, and to practice the skill of learning, which is such a great skill to always work on. This is why we love to pick things before coming into class that you're focused on, so that as the class goes on and you realize if your focus was facials and now there happens to be a lot of arms and maybe you're getting overwhelmed with all of the arm movements, Your focus wasn't arms. So now you have control to say, okay, well, my focus wasn't arms anyway today. My focus was facials. So how can I do my best with arms, with the styling, and really work on my facials? That's a choice. When we allow ourselves to feel the control that we do have in a class, we realize that we control whether or not we shut down. We can control when and how frequently we check in with ourselves to breathe. We get to control when we ask questions and how we ask questions. We also get to control how gentle we get to be with ourselves or how aggressive we get to be with ourselves. Some nights, and you'll hear me talk about this, it's nice to have that discipline on yourself and to push yourself very hard. And then it's also really nice to take a step back and say, why are you doing this to yourself? You don't need that push this week. You get to just relax a little bit. You came here for joy. So a really cool line to remember is we work on technique all the time in dance. And what if I told you that the real technique is how you react when you think you're losing control? And the real reason why this matters is because dancers progress the most when they realize that they aren't able to control the uncontrollable. You're not going to have the best night every night at class. There's going to be some routines that just hit you in a different way. There's going to be some songs that don't vibe with you in the right way. There's going to be some moments where you actually wished you picked a different location to learn the routine. When you shift your focus to what you can control, you learn faster, you beat yourself up less, you stay calmer, you stop comparing, you care more deeply about yourself and your experience, you connect better with yourself, you feel more confident, you enjoy the actual experience more, you develop emotional intelligence, you build consistency, and all of this becomes part of your identity as a dancer. You might go to a class and you realize, oh my gosh, this is way more crowded than I thought it would be. Or the lights might be brighter than you thought they would be. Or you might be around people who are learning faster than you. And I say that with air quotes if you're listening. These are all things you cannot control. You cannot show up at a studio and say, hey, let's change the lights. Or, hey, I actually want to dance with only 5 people in this room instead of 20. You can decide, though, how to make the most of the people that you're around. If you get into the location that you feel you learn best, maybe you're a right side learner, maybe you're a left side learner, maybe you need to be right behind the instructor, you get to decide that. You get to decide whether you say hello to the person next to you, the person behind you, or the person to the other side of you. You get to decide what you wore to class that day and what you packed with you. Sometimes we get into a class and we think the vibe is going to be a certain way. Those are those expectations that always sneak in for us. And what I like to do is always have backup outfits. So if I'm not vibing, or maybe I'm having wardrobe malfunctions, or maybe Ruby's popping out, I have a second option. I get to control that. I can leave where I am and I can go and change. I also get to control, sometimes I get hungry during class, so I usually pack things with me so that I can have a quick snack if I feel like I'm getting faint. The alternative to this would be, I have a wardrobe malfunction, I don't like where I'm standing, I feel really hungry like I'm going to faint, and the lights are too bright. And then guess what I'm focused on? I'm focused on my experience of all that and how distracting that is to the whole reason why I showed up to dance in the first place, which was to learn choreography, to have fun, see my friends, and get a good workout. So the next time that you're stepping into the studio, I want you to remind yourself of everything that you get to control so that you can have the best outcome at your dance class. I hope this was so helpful for you today. And if it was, it would mean the absolute world to me if you left a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. This is the only way the podcast can grow and be seen by people just like you who are on their dance journey. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the dance floor.